Hello, Mr. Hunter.
Hello, Mr. Wood. Can you hear me in the Shetland Islands?
I can hear you. I can hear you. How is Dundee tonight? Is Dundee well?
It's dark.
It's dark. Okay.
It's dark.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Scottish Sessions on Tartan Tunes. Brilliant you can join us. We have got an amazing show for you tonight. Absolutely brilliant show coming tonight. We have got two guests for you tonight. We've got Gavin Piper, the accordionist, for the first half and the second half.
Gavin Piper, the accordionist, and Piper.
Yeah. It's kind of, mind we had that fella Scott Band on, and he is Scott Band's band.
Isn't it the Scott Band Squared?
No. But no. Anyway, wonderful to see the amount of people joining us here tonight is unbelievable. This is incredible.
Peter, because I interrupted you, you didn't say our second guest was.
Yeah, our second guest, and we're incredibly thankful to him to come at the very last moment and help us out on the show here tonight. There's been a change of plan, big time. And Mark Smith has come on the show. And Mark's a drummer and a very, very good Highland dancer. And you've come across Mark before in your travels with the tattoos and all that. So when Mark's on later on, we're going to have a lot of videos for tattoos all over the world and things. I think you're going to love it, folks.
You might even spot me in videos.
Yeah, you could be in them. And then we've got Gavin on first with the box and all that. There's Vi Todd. Hello, Vi. So anyway, folks, could you please hit the share button and share this as far as you can. We want it shared all over the world and a few other places as well. That's our idea. So have you had a good week? How's Mrs. Hunter and baby Hunter?
They are doing well. Just a matter of time now until they get him.
getting home soon. That's good.
Yeah.
I've had an interesting week. I've had a kidney stone blasted at the ARI. That was entertaining.
But the thing is, though, Peter, maybe we had the conversation last week about them using Scottish dance band music to give it a good oomph.
Yeah.
Tell the audience what happened.
I asked for Mozart, and then we got speaking, and the girls found out I had a YouTube channel and ended up playing myself to me, sitting in the operating theatre, which really didn't make me feel that great at all. But anyway, listen, this is wonderful. There's Sheila Piper there joining us there as well. This is wonderful. Keep it, all the comments coming in, folks. We want to know where you are. We love knowing where you are in the show, and it keeps Davey busy as well. And we've got a few tracks. I'm going to start with a wee accordion track tonight that I recorded this afternoon. It's 4 years ago today since I lost my dad, and this was one of his favourite tunes, so I thought I would record it. So it's a wee tune called the Northlands. And yesterday I was up on Unst because I'm going to be doing some music for the saxophone Spaceport. Okay. And we're going to be doing podcasts and things up there as well. And if you've not heard about the saxophone Spaceport, have a look online. We are going to be launching rockets at the north end of Shetland from next year. It's a big deal, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be great. So here is the wee tune. I took some videos when I was up there. We can't get any further north in Britain than that. And the tune is called the North.
Britain.
Well, the United Kingdom. Scotland, whatever you want to go. And this was one of my dad's favourite tunes, and it was a wee tune, a wee Scandinavian one called the Northlands. So we can't get much further north than this for the video. So here we go. Yeah. There we go.
There we go.
That was one of his favourite wee tunes, so that's from my dad. And thinking of my mum and my sister tonight, they're down south. I've been up here for years. They got rid of me in the end. There
Deportation.
Yeah, fantastic. Have you got a wee track for us that you were going to play tonight?
I do, yes. It's a wee throwback to before COVID. It was the last gig the band played, and it's with the Scottish Fiddle Orchestra. The band were lucky enough.
2 years ago this week since we shut down.
Yeah.
Would you believe?
The band, so the Scottish Fiddle Orchestra last week invited the band to play at the Perth Concert Hall last Saturday. But due to the current restrictions at the concert hall, they limited it to 6 pipers. Last time they live streamed the whole thing, and this time they've done professional video, which we're still waiting on to see. So I'll bring that to the show at some point once that's done. I wasn't at the gig, but it was apparently really good. So we're going to get a rendition of Macpherson's Rant, or Macpherson's Farewell, by the Scottish Fiddle Orchestra and the Royal Air Force, Central Scotland Pipes and Drums.
And can I just say quickly before you hit that button, we've got a message here for Jean Swanston, for Jean and John saying hello. It's coming the messages rather than good up on the screen. So, hi today, guys.
Hello, hello, hello. And here we go. There we go. Nice and short.
Awesome. It's awesome. It's visual as well, isn't it? But what a nice big sound. I admire that guy. Did you see the guy that had to play the cymbals standing there waiting?
There's a really good version of Highland Cathedral that we did, same gig, and they've got the big pipes.
Wow.
They've got that at the start. That's quite intense.
Oh, something else. That was the Scottish Fiddle Orchestra, was it?
That is the Scottish Fiddle Orchestra, yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
They do a lot of work for charity as well. So.
Yeah, some of them musicians and some pipe corps there are looking really good.
That was about half the pipe corps.
Were you one of the ones under one of the big feathered bonnets?
Yeah, I'm right behind the drummer, the kit drummer.
Lots of people all over the world watching the show tonight, and it's fantastic. But keep letting us know where you are, folks, because we love to know where you are in the world, because it's fantastic to know. And one thing, the boys were, the pipers were wearing feathered bonnets there. They're made of ostrich feathers.
They are.
A lot of people get confused and think they're a bearskin, like the bearskins, but they're not at all. They're a feathered bonnet. So anyway, right, listen, we've got great guests tonight. We're going to have a great wee show here. This is going to be great fun. And our first guest, sitting, waiting, ready, just had a slurp of whiskey, I think. He's ready for it now. And let's bring on Mr. Gavin Piper. Hi, Gavin. How you doing?
Not too bad. Even better now.
That's it. Yeah, real Scottish show. This is a good one. Here's me sitting with a glass of orange juice, guys. What's going on? David, I've got a phone going crazy here. Right, there we go. Magic to see you, Gavin. How are you getting on?
It's nice to be here. Thanks for asking me on the show.
You're doing well. David asked you earlier on if you're in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm in. I've got a showroom on the side of the house, and it's basically just so that I can get peace and the Wi-Fi to myself, and just let the kids play on the computer. So just to get interrupted. So hopefully it'll go smooth.
Well, there we go. One of the nice things about this show is it's letting folk get to know folk a wee bit better. Sometimes they would just see us as being musicians on stage or playing, and they don't get to know us. So there you go straight away. Your business is what exactly is it? But obviously you said you've got a showroom there and you've got kitchens. So
right. So I'll give it a wee plug then. So it's Stable Kitchens, which is. I basically started up on my own about 7 years ago, and then it's grown into converting one of the steading. I live on a farm, so I've converted a steading on a farm into a showroom. It's like quite an old work. Well,
wow! Look at that.
But it just means that I don't get snowed in or anything like that. There's no excuse. I can always go to my work. And we basically design, supply kitchens to the trade and to retail people, and just support all the trades round about, basically. So
you could have a fine dance in there as well.
That's great. Yeah, it's a fine bit of room. That's nice.
We've got a message here from a Sheila Piper saying hello.
No. Oh, that's my mum.
Thank goodness for that. Thank goodness. Your mum's been an incredible supporter of everybody right through the lockdowns and all that. She's been on all the internet things, watching all the shows and everything.
Yeah. Great. Well, mum always said that before I was a musician, she was called Sheila Piper, and then after that, she was called Gavin's mum. But that's how it works out. That's just
tell us about that. Tell us, does your mum play though? Your mum played the pipes as well.
So, yeah, I mean, I started music because there was music in the house. Mum played the pipes from years ago. I've got pictures of mum playing in the Burnt Island pipe band years ago. Yeah. And she also played the accordion. Her twin sister plays the accordion as well, and the two of them used to go out as a duo. Playing at gigs and that, just the same as we do. And their famous thing used to be playing the high level hornpipe as a waltz, and then as a hornpipe, then as a reel. And that was 80 odd. No, it wasn't 80 odd years ago. It would be a wee while ago.
I struggle to play the high level as a waltz. The hornpipe and the reel.
So that's what they used to do. But so she played that, and she played the piano, the keyboard, all that kind of stuff as well. And Dad, he plays the fiddle and the drums and all that kind of stuff. So there's always been musical instruments lying about in the house.
It was brought about. So what instrument was first then?
For me, it would be, well, there was a double manual, like a keyboard, like the organ, like you get in a church. I used to have one of them sitting in the house, and I used to just sit and play about with that until I managed to get tunes out of it. I liked the fact, probably at that time, I liked the fact that you could play something and then hear like a response back, and it just makes you learn tunes and learn things that you're familiar with. And then before that, I was playing like the tunes off of TV adverts and all that kind of stuff on the organ. And then the headmaster at the primary school heard that I was musical, and they were looking for a cello player for the orchestra because there was no cellos in the orchestra. And they said, "Would you manage to do it?" And I said, "Well, I don't even know what it is." So I learned the cello and used to lead the lead cellist in the orchestra and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And then learned the chanter at the primary school age as well, and just took it from there. Just started learning various instruments.
Well, listen, we're going to have a wee set of tunes. This is a wee, I think this is a Virginia Reel we're starting with, wasn't it?
Right, well, I'll apologise that when you had your track on, it was all beautiful scenery and mountains and hillsides and all that kind of stuff. The scenery you'll get on this is just a big row of bums doing the Virginia Reel.
That's all right. That's what we
right.
want to see. That's real life.
But it's atmosphere. There you go.
I've just got too much time in my hands, obviously, sometimes. Just go and mess about with things. But this was up in Shetland, I think, wasn't it?
During the Shetland Festival, and I think it was 2018.
Yeah, and you've been up to the festival quite a few times now.
I've been up a few times. I wasn't always a guest. I just sometimes gate crashed my way in. But yeah, I've been a few times, probably 5-6 times maybe.
I certainly heard, but there's actually, I was at the concert, some of the stuff we're going to play tonight when you were up here and you went down an absolute storm. The public just absolutely loved what you did, and you totally communicated with them, and that's an amazing thing. So let's go with this wee set of tunes here and enjoy, folk. Sets of 4 in your kitchen, especially if it's as big as Gavin's there, and have a wee dance.
Can you press the button, please, Peter? Because I've lost it.
You've lost it, did you say?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Right, I'll find it. We're off.
Didn't the dancers do well?
Did they do that?
Very good. Love it. Listen, it's a magic sound there. You've got like the two of you sitting playing, and you do a lot of solo work as well. I think yourself, don't you? As well.
I do a lot of solo work. It's mainly that I play at dance classes, village halls, and accordion clubs as solo. But if people want a duo or a bigger band, I can put it together. But it's normally I like playing on my own because, well, one of the tricks I always say is if you're at an accordion club, always tell the people what you're away to play after you've played it. Because if you go into the wrong tune, nobody knows that you went into the wrong tune. So if you're playing on your own, you can play on your own, get away with murder, and nobody knows. So I like fun and just enjoying myself. And if someone wants a request, you can play it. The more you add to a band, I find the more limited it is. Well, it's because I can't put in the stuff that I play because sometimes I'll maybe be in the wrong key compared to somebody else or whatever like that. So if you're not playing it off of music, sort of thing.
The thing is, that's a massive sound for a two-piece. The two years we're getting there, and a lot of folk mentioning the drums. That's Callum Wallace drumming with you in that instance, and Callum's been up and down to Shetland all the years as well, and great player. But the sound you get with using MIDIs and electronics and all that, and it works brilliantly, but it also makes everyone very affordable, doesn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, it just means that you can go in one car for a start. I mean, if I'm playing at a gig with Callum, we can put his drums, a full drum kit in the car, my MIDI equipment that I've got to let it pick up, and we just put it all in the back, and then that's us away. It's perfect. The reason that Callum was chosen specifically for that festival was because he plays the full drum kit, and regardless of whether I'm playing at a dance or accordion club or anything like that, I really do prefer a full drum kit to be played. Mm-hmm. It just suits me better. I like, as you say, the big sound. I like the sound to be dynamic and varying all the time. It doesn't stay the same. 30 seconds later, it'll be something else, and I like that kind of thing.
So tell me, the accordion, you play the 5-row box, the button box. Did you start on that, or did you start in the piano box? Or?
No, I played the piano box. I played originally when I was playing the keyboard. And back in a singer, I was a keyboard player and a singer. We had a singer in the band, and we had an accordion player who played the Scottish stuff. And then as time went on and technology went on, you were able to plug the keyboard into the accordion like a MIDI sort of thing. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, this is proven to be quite good. So I decided I would teach myself how to play the accordion. So I played the keyboard, I then started playing the piano and accordion. And managed to get the same sounds as I was hearing from the keyboard. And then it diversified into the MIDI. And then one of my relatives was a 5-row button key player, came up for a tune one night and just left his accordion sitting. And I thought, I'm going to have a wee tune on this. And it was a 5-row button key. And I loved the tone from a button key, just sounds different. And I just loved the response.
Whether it's the mechanics or whatever it is, I'm not sure what it is, but you're right, it does sound different. And,
I think it's because because I play both. The only thing I could say is I think the notes are more separate on a button key. So there's when you change from one note to the next, even if it's a fast tune or a slow tune, there's a break. Whereas if you're on a piano box tend to glide from one note to the next. The button key is a bit more staccato. So when you're starting to play tunes, every note has got its individual space, sort of thing.
That's interesting. And that's going to suit certain kinds of music better than other kinds of music as well. But
there's a great question come in, Peter. And
sorry?
Right. Gavin, can you play the pipes?
I can make a noise, yes.
That's...
Yeah, I can play the pipes. Yeah. I actually started playing the pipes because I got fed up with people saying, "Oh, Gavin Piper, can you play the pipes?" And because I played other musical instruments, I was going, no. Then I went, yes, I can actually, because I then learned how to play. That was it. Did you
play with a pipe band in that as well then?
Yeah, playing the pipe band. I met Davey years ago. Started off in the Fintry pipe band, which was a really good local pipe band. Famously for playing, I wasn't in it at the time, but they played at the Olympics in was it China, the Olympic Games?
2008. Yep.
So Fintry went across and played there, and then after that I moved on to for British Legion pipe band, where I was in the pipe band, and we won the World Championships at grade 3. Right. Then after that, I moved to Ochterhouse pipe band and became the pipe major there, and I was there for about 10 years. By the time I left the pipe band, every member of the pipe band was someone that I had taught from scratch. So that was my achievement. And then I left.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'm out of here. But fantastic. Well, that's amazing. So do you still have a tune in the pipes sometimes? Or?
Just when it's needed, really. Just when it's, if you poke me enough, I'll probably play at New Year or a party or something like that. But I don't particularly play.
That's kind of what I'm like now as well. Actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of like too much effort. I can pick the accordion up and play it. With the pipes, you look for things going wrong before you even pick them up.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, it's absolutely wonderful. So many people watching this. It's unbelievable. I've never seen so many people watching this, Davey. This is a huge number tonight.
I know. It's dropped. Now you've mentioned there's like 4 folk watching it and 3 of them are us.
But Melon 4.
How about that video?
Fantastic. Keep the comments coming in. If you've got any questions you want to ask Gavin or that, folks, file them in. It's all right.
We'll say hello to Stephen Hughes. Stephen Hughes has put a couple of times there. Hello, Gavin. So we'll say hello to Stephen.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a quote for your kitchen, also get in touch.
That's it.
Exactly.
We'll talk about CDs and things later on because you've got stuff like that as well. But we'll talk about that as we go through. The next video we're going to look at, this one, I just wrote Snow next to it. What was this again? There was this Waltzes, wasn't it?
That could be the Snow Waltz if you've got the right one there. It'll be the Snow Waltz and the Merry Widow. It's an Andre Roux selection from when I'm out playing. I like to play lots of different kinds of music, even if it's just like a traditional village hall dance. You'll get like Glenn Miller and Andre Roux and Scottish stuff and all that kind of stuff mixed in. As I say, I like to vary it, so that's what it is. It should be the
one. My next door neighbour here, Senga, will just be delighted. Andre Roux's her big favourite, so that's good. So.
Hello, Tom Colleen.
Everybody's here. Here we go. Go for it. Here's Snow Waltz. very refreshing to hear different stuff played and things. And I know loads of comments coming in, Gavin saying folk fair enjoying this tonight.
Good.
This is great. You, a wee bit like myself, have got kind of into this Facebooks and internet as well the last couple of years. That's what we kind of had to. But one thing you've been doing was a Wednesday night dance.
Yeah.
That's went incredibly well. You're getting huge views for that now.
There's quite a few. It started off. It was at the end of March, the first when it all kicked off with the COVID thing a couple of years ago, and everyone was saying, "Oh, I can't believe the dancing's off. I can't believe it stopped," and blah 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 blah. And then I decided I would put a thing on Facebook and say, "Right, you are invited to a dance." And I said, "Yeah, you've read this properly. What I'm going to do is I'll write a list of dances, and you can tune in and you can shift the coffee table out the road and all that kind of stuff, and still have a wee dance while all this goes on for 2 or 3 weeks, and then 2 years later we're still doing it." But there's some weeks generally when I'm live on a Wednesday, it's 6:30 on the music page. There's generally a couple of thousand folk tuned in or so, but by the end of a week, there's probably about 30 or 40,000 folks watched it. So it's really it's nice to do, and so we've managed to coincide it. And I decided, because I've got a job, I decided I would raise money for charity. So we've done it for Help for Kids, which is a local charity that my partner Derek is heavily involved in. He's an ambassador he's a what do you call it? No, an ambassador. I can't remember what the name is. So he works for that charity anyway, and we put. Is he
like a trustee or something?
Trustee, that's the word I was looking for. So that's the one. So we've raised every night. I just sort of put a wee thing, just a wee 10-second thing. Now remember that if instead of paying your ticket money for going to a dance, if you wanted to click the link, you can click the link and put some money into the charity. And it's so far we've managed to supply special beds for kids with special needs and things like that. Kids that can't get normal air in their rooms, so we've managed to build special rooms for them. We've got electric wheelchairs, toys, electricity, carpets, beds, all that kind of stuff for kids, food, things like that. So that's just excellent. I've been fortunate, like yourself. I had the job, you see, so I felt exceptionally bad for full-time musicians. They were in a real pickle. Well, that's it. Yeah.
But I was the same as you, so I done a wee bit of fundraising as well and things. But you've done an incredible job there, and for the kids, it's just absolutely fantastic.
It's raising awareness as well. It's something that we've done for years, to be honest with you. But I just decided that during the lockdown we would probably flaunt it, because at the end of the day, charities haven't been able to do their fundraising events because of the lockdown. They haven't been able to have gala days and all that kind of stuff because no one's been able to eat. So these charities are needed more than ever, because people have run out of money. They don't have a job. They don't have this, that, next thing, and people turn to a charity, and the charity's standing there with its hands in its pockets, going, "Well, we're not getting any money coming in." So it's been a tough time for the charities as well. So it's been nice.
Well, I'm sure many thanks to you for doing that, because it's I'm sure it's helped to knock a lot of bairns out, and it's just been fantastic. So well done. Another wee video. Here we go. We're going to have the Dam Busters. Tell us about the Dam Busters.
This is a wee bit of fun. I think this set will be, if it's the one in the Islesborough again, I think it's a bit of fun. It was because Ellie Mclaren was there, and Nicola likes the theme from Still Game, so we played that when he got on the phone.
Hold on. No, we're having it later. I think. We got it twice.
Possibly.
We've got it at the show as well. Have we got it? I've got it here at the Neston show that we were at.
All right, okay.
What one would you prefer? Go for the.
I'd put that one.
Go for the Islesborough one. Let's go for the Islesborough one, because all the folk are there.
Here we go. I know what's happening there.
What's
He was
up?
after a second. He was after a second paycheck, wasn't he?
I know. So look, it's all about fun. That's the kind of things. To be honest with you, I think we had one rehearsal before we went up to Shetland, and Callum knew right away when we were coming along. Just bring the full drum kit. We'll go through a wee rehearsal, and he brought everything, toots and whistles, and anything you could think of, because that's what we do at the dancing. I like to create an atmosphere. And you hear if you forget about the music and listen to the background, I like hearing everybody going on about this. Can I say hello to Ian Duncan, who just tuned in there? That was my pipe teacher. Ian Duncan is a very, very famous piper, pipe major of the Vale at Athol world champion many times over, and that was the pipe teacher. There you go. That's him there. Hello, Ian. Hope you're doing well. And there you go.
You had Ian as a teacher for a wee while then.
Yeah, he was a teacher.
Good teacher. Good teacher to have. You couldn't do much better. So,
no, not at all.
Can I ask you CDs and things? Do you have many CDs out, Gavin?
There's plenty of CDs out, but you just can't get them now. They've all run dry, to be honest with you. I think I've got about 7 different CDs out. Yeah, but I just haven't made any reruns of them, and I haven't recorded any new ones. It's something that people keep asking about, but I've just never really done anything about it. I probably should think about doing one, maybe even like just to represent the last couple of years of
that'd be good.
Being on Facebook or something. But
the Wednesday night dance.
Exactly. So,
yeah, well, but mind, folks, if you want to watch the Wednesday night dance, Davey put up Gavin's Facebook page, so that's where you find that one. And Gavin Piper Music. If you look for that on Facebook at 6:30 on a Wednesday night, you'll find the show. And if you get to follow Gavin, you'll see that he asks for requests and things in advance. And it's become quite a thing, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm playing one week to the next. I'm kind of my own worst enemy. I put it on Monday. On the page, I'll put, right, what's your request? What would you like to hear on a Wednesday? So people have got a couple of days to write their requests, but my downfall is I'm on it at 6:30 on a Wednesday night, and I normally open up Facebook at 6 o'clock at night and print off all the requests, and I'm looking at some of them going, oh my god, I haven't played that for years, or I don't even know that tune. But to be honest with you, I'm not really a perfectionist that way. I'd rather just sort of say, well, do you know what, I'm live on Facebook, but we'll give it a go anyway and see what happens.
Well, but quite a good thing it's been as well for keeping you going as well.
Oh, definitely, and it's a wee community. Everybody speaks to each other, and as soon as you see them all logging on, and they all start speaking to each other, and I'm just sitting away in the background, and it's just like being at a dance.
Yeah, well, that's right, because that's what it's like, isn't it? They're speaking and having a laugh and that, but you've certainly kept an awful lot of folk going with their Wednesday night dance. They've just thoroughly enjoyed it. And in fact, I see you struggling to stop it, to be honest, with the way it's going with them. Yeah.
Well, if every time there's been word of, things are opening up or whatever like that, I'll get private messages and everything like that. Are you on this Wednesday? Is it stopping or whatever? And to be honest with you, as long as I'm not out every weekend and I've got the stuff set up in the house, I'll just do it. Because if it ended up that I was out every weekend and things like that, I wouldn't be setting stuff up in the house and then back at the weekend and back and forward.
I'm trying to keep some internet going for the reason that we found out there was actually people couldn't get out before this even started, and we never realised there was maybe so many people sitting at home for different reasons couldn't get out, and we never really utilised this.
It's opened up a new world for a lot of people, and people. It's more of a community. I would say again, so it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a wee set tunes this time, starting with Dunaree. Is this a wee Pride Earn waltz set?
So it's an Irish waltz, Dunaree, and the Back to Donegal. We'll dedicate this to Donald Ring and his family. Donald lost his life earlier on today, so well-known Irish accordionist, an idol to many and fantastic person. So we'll dedicate this one to him because it's an Irish set of waltzes.
Excellent.
Here we go.
my Donegal. I have been back home to my Donegal.
Fantastic. Really entertaining stuff. And you know what gets, I noticed the chap Davy Borthwick put on there, takes me back to my old RAF days.
Yeah.
Just hearing a tune. And a lot of these tunes, bands aren't playing them anymore. They're playing all this technical kind of stuff, and it's brilliant to play and all that, but you can't beat a melody of a song, can you?
Well, the only tunes that I play are tunes that I've heard and liked, to be honest with you. So I don't really learn tunes for the sake of it. There is lots of, and I could go out and hear other bands playing and I wouldn't know one of the tunes that they play, and it's not any like a criticism of anybody.
No.
It's just, I'm probably stuck in the dark ages, but I like. To me, you could learn all the fancy new tunes, but there's always someone comes up and says, "But can you play Karen Woods or Donald the ones at the road?" And somebody once said to me, "You always know a good tune if you can whistle it as a good tune." And I suppose there's something in that. So
that's what my dad used to say all the time as well. If you went away and you could whistle a tune or remember it, that was a good thing. Because if you just went home and sort of can't remember anything anybody played.
Yeah, that's where the term the old grey whistle test comes from.
Is it? Right.
Used to when in the 50s and 60s they used to get the janitor into the studio, and they played back the music from whatever they're recording, and if the janitor then went off whistling it, then that's when you knew it was going to be a hit.
Wow.
It got stuck in the head. That's the old grey whistle test.
Oh well, there you go.
There you go.
That janitor would be worth a fortune. Imagine him. He was making break for all the stars, that guy.
Yeah. That's it.
Wow,
That's it.
Great. Gavin, listen, it's been absolutely phenomenal having you on tonight. It's been really good that you come on and give us your time on a Sunday night.
Problem.
And as I said, you've got a great following. You've got a great family behind you.
Yeah.
And
I should take this opportunity to say thanks to like my husband Derek and like my mum and dad who are just listening down the road. Dad says, "I'll have a glaive in my hand." So he's going through a bit of a hard time just now, and mum's there, and I've got my sister in Australia and all the rest of it. But they've all supported me over the years. My very first gig was at the top of the old steeple in Dundee, and if you remember what I said, that the first instrument was a double manual keyboard, an organ. I was shoved in the back of an old Volvo. Dad carted it up to the old steeple, right at the very top, and played there. And that was my first gig. So, and I've never looked back since then. But
I hope he enjoys his glaive, and even your mum sent me stuff in the lockdown and things when I was playing. So it was great. She was knitting stuff, and it was just magic. Very kind people, and it's obviously passed on to yourself. So that's lovely to see. And you have to go and pour Derek a glaive or something as well.
Oh, he'll be sitting there. He's sitting with the kids, so they're all tuned in, just sitting watching it. So,
all right. Well, hello to all you guys.
The house is still tidy when I get back.
Yeah, hello to the kids. Hello to Derek.
You've got 3 minutes.
Aye.
He'll be back in a minute or two, but we'll give him here the next. Also, we're going to finish off with a wee set of reels, and all I can say is thanks so much for coming on, and we'll hopefully see you before very long again. And again, there's an awful lot of folk out there put messages in saying, please get CDs reprinted for us.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and it's been nice to be on the programme. I'll stay tuned in for a wee while longer. I'll just sit and read the comments and all the rest of it. But it's been good being part of the show. So thanks very much. And thanks to you guys for doing this during the lockdown and that. I'm sure everybody's appreciated it being a regular thing.
It's just something we've done, and it's been great meeting all the musicians as well and hearing folks' different perspectives and things, and seeing what folk are doing and how folk cope with it all, because it's been different for everybody. It's been quite a difficult thing. So, brilliant. Gavin, thank you very much. Here's Gavin going out with a set of reels. Take care, sir. All the best to you and yours.
Cheers.
incredibly entertaining musician, entertainer.
And Gavin Piper.
And Gavin Piper. Awful nice fellow. Very, very nice fellow. Doing so much for charities.
Yep.
Great stuff. Buy his kitchens from him. That's what I say. Do you need a
They're
new
not
kitchen?
just steady kitchens.
What?
They're not just steady. Oh, hold on. Stop for a moment. They're not just steady kitchens. They're stable kitchens too.
Oh, boys, oh boy.
Right, okay, cool.
You're just a bit
I know.
McGonagall.
I don't.
There's a bit of McGonagall about you, really. You know?
Yeah. I know. I don't need a new kitchen. It's got done recently. Jeremy. Yes.
New kitchens to Shetland. That would be an entertaining thing. That would be good.
He's nodding his head.
I'm sure we'd do that.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
That was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, great.
I can't believe it. Somebody said that's the fastest hour they think they've ever seen in the show. I agree. Very, very quick. Great guy, great musician, and can only wish him all the best. It's fantastic. Now, this next gentleman that we've got coming on the show, I've known for many, many years now, but you've known for many more than me.
2010.
There you go. Yeah.
I met him in a small bar in the corner of a street in Basel, Switzerland.
All right.
Yeah, it was during the 2010 World Cup.
Were you supposed to be in the small bar?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Yes. Just.
Right. Let's bring on this young man, Mark Smith. Mark's now up in Shetland, up here beside me. I haven't seen him for a wee while because of lockdowns and all that kind of stuff. But let's bring him on. Hello, Mark.
Hello.
How are you getting on?
Oh, not too bad. How's yourselves?
Absolutely brilliant. Now, listen,
Bad.
before we start this whole thing, an absolute huge thank you to you for coming on. We were speaking this morning about getting you on the show sometime anyway, and then we got kind of stuck tonight that somebody couldn't manage at the very last minute, and we phoned you and you said, yeah, let's do it. So who knows what's going to happen here, chum. This is it.
We'll soon see. I'm just saying, I'm following the quickest ever. Now's for the slowest. No, we'll see. Actually, you say you phoned me. You certainly did. I was looking back. You text me, and then 4 minutes later, you phoned me. I had no chance to say no. Round the dinner table, you and I both eating our tea. Oh no, I'd have done it. Wonderful to be on. Thanks very much.
There's Derek Owen saying hello to you.
Hi, Derek. How you doing? Hope you're enjoying your. I believe he's retired now. I think he used to be the ops manager at Glasgow Airport. He's doing well now, I think.
Now, when you came to Shetland, I knew you as coming as you were a drummer, and you moved up here, and I knew you more as drumming, and in fact, you played in the band with us a few times and things like that before I found out about the Highland Dancing, which was a huge part of your life.
Yeah, certainly.
That I didn't ever realise about, and then we started speaking about it. And there's Gene Swanston. That's who I was speaking to you about earlier on, Gene.
There's Gene Swanston. Gene Swanston, I'll go on to. I got to say, I put a message on Facebook, but big thank you to Gene Swanston. It's looking back. Gene Swanston is one of 21 men and women who have won the Athol Clasp, which is essentially for outstanding efforts towards Highland dancing in Scotland and across the world. And genuinely, without Gene and the rest of our comrades, I wouldn't still be. Dare I say, as fit as a fiddle as I am now, but yeah, she's one of the few people around the earth that makes sure that dancing's still done, and it's superb. So I'm really, really chuffed that she's on tonight and gets to hello. So generally, hello, Jane. It's lovely to hear from you again.
Well, brilliant. We're going to chat about dancing, drumming, all sorts of things as we go through the night. I think a lot of the stuff you've done on stage, videos wise, and things we've got here. Is tattoos and things all over the world, Matt. You've been all over the place. And sometimes Davy Hunter's followed you about by the looks of it because he was there as well.
It's a coincidence.
So between the two of you, so I think we should have a wee track to begin with. Can we have a bit of music for the other viewers? Ladies and gentlemen, all over the world out there, wherever you are, where are we going? We're going to Virginia first tonight.
We're going to Virginia first in 2010. So
My
this is
first tattoo.
The mass pipes and drums of the tattoo, as well as the Was it just the Elsa Craig dancers at the time?
I believe so. If it might have been joined with the Highland dancers and the Virginia
Yeah,
military
so.
tattoo dancers, but we'll soon see. I can't quite remember. Many moons ago.
Here's a bit of a show for you folks. You'll enjoy this.
Well, it's a blast of the past.
Gee whiz. It's amazing, though, isn't it? And I mean, it's amazing the emotion and the diaspora of Scottish music
Yes.
and dance. How it, Virginia, how did a tattoo end up in Virginia?
So I think, well, I seem to remember it started. I say I don't remember, but I did a little bit of research on it whilst watching that video. So it started in 1997, and it came from the Virginia Arts Festival in
Right.
Norfolk. And to be honest, I think it started off just a kind of general military band parade. The US Air Force have a fairly phenomenal pipe band, and I suspect that was probably where it started. Then the Scottish stuff started coming in after it. I'm just actually looking at some of the bands it played with. There was and one that notably is the Paris Port Dover pipe band. Davey, I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lifelong friend who I don't suppose should be watching tonight, but it's Cameron McDonald, who is a piper, an astonishing piper, underrated as it is. She came from, I think it's Vancouver, maybe, and is now in somewhere silly like Bermuda with her husband or fiance, who's a crab fisherman of all things, and he's a phenomenal piper too. And in fact, they were in Crete. David, did you go to Crete?
Nope.
But they were certainly in Liechtenstein. They went to Berlin. I think they went to.
I'm going to
make it to
get
Australia.
onto
I can't
that.
quite remember.
Get onto that in a wee minute. How there seems to be a big circuit for tattoos, but taking you back a wee stage further back than that, if we could go back to your youth, where were you brought up, and when? How did you get into dancing?
Okay.
Or was it music first, or was it dancing first?
No, well, I suppose it sort of comes hand in hand. So I was born in Shetland. My parents were up here for I think about 5 or 6 years. But we moved south when I was maybe 2 or 3 weeks old, very, very young, have no recollection of it, and went to Ayr. So I grew up in a very small village called Coylton. And there, my big sister Claire, who I suspect might be watching this evening, who was the real reason I got into dancing, to be honest. So Claire was dancing with Aileen Robertson, who has always been a massive inspiration for both of us. And she's now the director of the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo for the dancing. And essentially was the reason why we ended up going abroad. But yeah, I started dancing when I was about 3 or 4. And I suppose it just sort of took off from there. I didn't get into music really on my own ground until I was probably in high school, but it's a classic sort of cliche story here. My father's a great, in my eyes, a great fiddler. He is from up north in Aberdeenshire, and I we grew up for the fiddle. Grew up with dancing. There's Claire. She jokes there. She said she was always known as Mark's big sister, but she's always my sister. But yeah, so my dad is a musician, and it sort of went hand in hand in our family. So not entirely sure, but I totally loved it, and I danced up until probably I was about 24, I think. I held on to it as long as I could when I moved up to Shetland. I've not done so much just now. I dare say lockdown's not been particularly good for the waistline, and certainly don't fit into the kilt anymore. But yeah, so it started off because of my sister. She was the inspiration, and still put it down to Claire, and then Aileen and her daughter Ellie Mclaren were just phenomenal as well. Still are in their own rights, and kind of sort of the reason why I kept it going on for so long.
Quite interesting what you say though about hanging on to it as long as you could when you came up to Shetland. I mean, I found the same with piping when I came to Shetland, but it's just we're in that Scandinavian bit that's not quite so Scottish. Orkney's still very Scottish. I think that bit nearer the mainland, but up here, just maybe not quite so much of the Highland dance and piping, that kind of culture going on. And it's quite interesting. But so you were 3, 4. Can I ask, because obviously it's boys in Highland dancing at the time, were there many boys doing Highland dancing when you were going through your? So
really, when particularly so starting in the school where I was getting taught, I think on and off there was certainly myself, and then there was one other gentleman I seem to remember, Robert Kirkland, who's a great guy. His sister's a phenomenal dancer as well, Kirsten Kirkland. But I think on the circuit, especially in the Highland Games, there was probably a good core of 10 or 15 that they were always very, very good. David Wilton is an astonishing world champion, phenomenal piper. And I suppose there weren't many of us, which is a shame, because I suppose what the point you maybe get to is, and traditionally it's a male art, Highland dancing. It's a military
that's
art,
the thing.
still taught by the Highlanders. It's still a matter. If you become a piper or a drummer, it's a requirement that you learn how to dance the Highland Fling. It's still taught up in Inverness in the barracks there, but I don't know. It's funny. It became a bit outnumbered by females, but by no means has the art ever been lost.
No,
there's now swades across in Australia and America that real men do dance, the pun on the spell and a reel, and it's taken swades. And I think even now, like, I'm really proud, totally chuffed. I have 2 nephews. One is Rory, he's the eldest. He is dancing just now, and Harris, I suspect, might go to gymnastics, but he's pretty good dancer as well. They're very young, so the tradition is continuing on, and I don't suppose it will ever disappear, which is a wonderful thing to see as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting tonight because I was messaging Donald McPhee, and of course Donald's wife is a accomplished lady in the dancing world, and he said, "Oh, she's not here tonight. She's away to Celia Orr's at Lanark for a dance display or something." And I was brought up in that area, and I remember Celia Orr's dance class being on the go then. And you think that wasn't yesterday, because look at me now. So that's like, some of these teachers, the amount of people they must have taught through the years and over the years that have come through the ranks, it must be phenomenal. It must be thousands of people. It must be incredible.
And I think actually, and I hope somebody can correct me, but I think at one point, so my teacher, Ellie Mclaren, Aileen Robertson, at one point had the largest Highland dancing school in Scotland, if not in Great Britain. But yeah, it's amazing how many teachers there are. And to be honest, there's new teachers coming in the ranks now, but it's still the stalwarts of the profession that are still teaching just now. When we're going to, I suppose, but when I went to Edinburgh, latterly I was taught by phenomenal teachers, Elizabeth Golan and Frances Patterson, which again are stalwarts of the craft. Celia Orr is, just saying, Jean Swanson, Celia Orr and I were taught by the same teacher. I think Aileen Robertson as well was taught. There was maybe 3 or 4 teachers in the day that created such a fantastic legacy of champions, borough champions, but beyond the accolades, the sort of academic competitions, they created people who were willing to keep the sport going on. And I think that, again, with traditional music, is what you need as well. You need people that don't care about who they are or what they came from or anything. All they care about is the actual craft, the art themselves, and that's that passion that's coming down through the ranks, through the generations that keeps it going.
It's actually fantastic, and I think if it was publicised more and more and more, it would be even bigger and bigger and bigger. Because when people actually saw the passion behind it, and as you say, and when Jean Swanson was saying there, Jean's husband, he was very involved with all the events, like at the Highland Games, all the different running and all the events, the Highland events, and they do go hand in hand, really, don't they? The dancing was always there, the events was always there, the solo piping was always there, and it's quite amazing culturally when you look at it. There's very few places in the world have such a strong thing going on, and it's going on every weekend, right through a normal year.
It's crazy because there's just to jump in there, Peter, that you're right. It's the three sectors, which are the Highland Games themselves, the cliche tabor tossing and all the rest of it. Sorry, caper tossing, but the pipes and drums and the dancing. The 3 of them do just tour as a sort of group round out Scotland and England, and there's the Highland Games fortnight. Davey, I hope you maybe took part in that at one point, which was a ludicrous thing. It came out with a book every year that told you on a Monday the 12th you could go to one of 9 Highland Games, take your pick. And as a dance, you go, that one was £40 for the first place. We'll go if it's off to Mull, or we'll go to Girvan, or we'll go to Rosyth or somewhere, And it's just fantastic. And hopefully, when all this malarkey of COVID and that surpasses, that we'll get back to that and be able to sort of tour around Scotland, because it took you to far-flung places. I think my parents' cars have driven on every single A and B road known to man in Shetland and in Scotland. Just to take us to games. Superb.
Let's have another one. What are we going to have here this time, Davey?
Now, this is the time where I first met Mark in 2010. We're going to have the dance set from the Basel Tattoo. You may recognise the piper that's playing as one of our previous guests, Mr. Stuart Sampson.
So did you guys do Virginia and Basel in the 1 year?
Yeah, so I think at one point we did 3 or 4 in the same year.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
It's just crazy because I think Virginia maybe April time.
Yeah.
Basel was summertime,
July.
was it?
July,
yeah. And then we could do Liechtenstein within the same year. It was fantastic. I had a great youth, I'll be honest. A superb teenage life. So Basel, fantastic.
So here we have it. Basel Tattoo 2010.
Und Tanz ist Stichwort für den nächsten Showteil. Aus Südafrika kommen die Rhythm of Africa Highland Dancers, eine Gruppe, die extra für das Tattoo zusammengestellt worden ist. Und weil die Tänzerinnen in Südafrika zum Teil sehr weit auseinander wohnen, ist die Nummer, die wir hier sehen, auch erst in Basel während einer intensiven Probewoche einstudiert worden. Und das ist er jetzt, der musikalische Leiter von den Pipes and Drums, der Captain Stuart Sampson. Er gilt als einer der weltbesten Dudelsackspieler und er hat auch das Stück komponiert. Begleitet wird der Tanz von der Swiss Army Concert Band mit einem Arrangement von Christoph Walter und dem Marcel Saurer. Solo spielt der Konzertmeister Philipp Hirsiger. Rhythm of Africa Highland Dance Company in einer Choreografie von der Carol Jones. Sie ist Südafrikanerin, lebt aber in Basel und schafft auch das ganze Jahr durch beim Tattoo mit.
Now let us address the the fact that it was the Rhythm of Africa dancers
That's
Yes.
brilliant. Anyway, whatever. Fantastic. Cool.
with 10 hangers on from Ayrshire.
I do. And some. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just looking,
Yes.
actually, I looked at that, those who want to know about when we first met Davey, the side I exit, so stage left, as you're looking at going onto the right-hand side, about another 10 paces was the Cath Bar, which
Yep.
was sponsored by Piper Hendricks, Heineken, and I think it was something stupid like Grant's Vodka, which I didn't realise.
No, it was Glenfiddich.
Was it?
Yeah.
There was definitely some horrific form of vodka out there. But anyway, that was when I first found out of the hand signal for a screwdriver and found out what a screwdriver was. Anyway, that was one thing you
There
could
are.
ask for.
There are other brand names of alcohol out there, by the way, folks.
There are indeed. Apologies, so I shouldn't do sponsorships. But well, we were.
But I was just,
the BBC.
Davey, you know how I told you I signed up to Slimming World?
Yes.
There are other diet firms out there as well,
Fat Fighters, yeah.
of course. I think what I need to do is take up Highland Dancing. Look at that. That was incredibly physical. I mean,
It's incredibly difficult to do, to be honest. I'm going to say, to be honest, it's not to go to the end of this too quickly, but I've loved watching this video. That is one of the best pieces of music I've ever danced to. Fantastic. But yeah, you're right. It's crazy how often people bring up the athleticism, the sportsmanship required for Highland dancing.
Yeah.
It's not the, by no means am I'm not going to badmouth any form of sport, but if you try and jump with something silly like 5 or 6 pounds worth of wool around your waists and the rest of it, that spodding I wear is pewter and seal. Sorry for those that are vegan. But it's around the waist and all the rest of it, and it's that crazy dancing for maybe 8 minutes for the show dancing on concrete, hop the entire time on one foot, or spring.
While smiling.
I still remember my
smiling.
face. Yes, I will say that smile there, that I caught a couple of camera angles there, is true, it's genuine.
One thing that I did find a hard day of was my sister Carol took up Highland dancing as well. And when we were young, of course, I was only maybe 10, 12, but the dancing teacher realised I could play the pipes. So suddenly I got branched in to play for the exams and things over in Edinburgh and things. You can come and play for the exams, and you had to play the same thing about 20 times over, and that was a fairly hard shift by the end of the day as well, to be honest.
But the £20 was worth it, Peter, wouldn't you say?
Gee, it was.
Yeah.
But looking at it, incredibly physical stuff going on there. Great music there, everything there. I can see what you're doing. I mean, Stuart Sampson, we had Stuart on the show once as well. Stuart's an incredibly nice man. Incredibly nice man, and great composer as well, actually. Just brilliant tunes.
And Stuart actually played small pipes for us, I think, the next year, which was wonderful to hear.
Right.
He was a great small pipe. Yeah, he was a great small pipe player.
Fantastic. So, this scene, because I think a lot of people probably think the Edinburgh Military Tattoo, and they think that's it. They think there's a tattoo and that's really it. But already there we've seen Virginia, we've seen Basel.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be everywhere, these tattoos.
I think there's maybe now been a tattoo on every continent.
Yeah.
India, maybe. I'm not entirely sure about Indian continent, but we've had China, we've had Russia, we've had throughout Europe, Australia, New Zealand,
Africa, South African tattoo as well.
Of course there is, yeah. Joburg, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've ticked them all off.
I think South America is probably the only ones we don't know. Maybe there's not one in South America. Yeah.
We'll go to Peru.
Yeah, I suppose.
So when you went to these countries, then I mean, both of you were there. The two of you around. I feel like I'm interviewing both of you tonight. You're not points, but it was. Were you relying on a lot of musicians and dancers from the places you visited as well? Or?
So I think To begin with, when we first started tuning, so my very first tattoo was Virginia, and actually I was speaking to my sister, and I think it maybe was 2007. I think it was earlier than that. But so we joined. It was only about 12 of us popped across from sunny air across to Virginia, and we joined Canadian and Australian dancers, and then Basel. There was the Basel tattoo team along with the South African. So the choreographer in Basel, she is South African, so brought a couple of dancers from there. Again, if we went to Liechtenstein, I think that's maybe all of us that went from Scotland. But on the whole, so latterly, what's happened is there's two well-known teams that tour the world, and they take in lots of different dancers from all over the world. So I'm affiliated with, or was past, I feel that I talked with the present, but past with Aileen Robertson's team, which is the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo team, which we've spoken about. In fact, the auditions have just finished recently. So that will be a crew of dancers, probably in the region of 36 to 60 dancers, somewhere there, depending on what they use for reserves and whatnot. And they'll perform in Edinburgh in August. But if it's with it, hopefully it's still the same way. They'll then have small teams from that initial group that will then tour the world to do the sort of satellite tattoos. But yeah, it really is an international team. I actually don't think I've ever done a tattoo that's probably been all one nationality. I think we've always had at least two, if not 5 or 6. So it's good.
Berlin.
Now, was Berlin all Scottish?
Yeah.
Oh, you caught me out there.
So that's correct. That was because the Berlin tattoo was started by Eric Juilliard, who did the Basel tattoo.
Off the back of the Basel tattoo,
Off the back, yeah. So he did 2 years of that. I did the first year, 2011, and it just didn't really take off the same way as Basel did. So yeah, but it's also in November, which doesn't really help. Yeah. And indoors.
So
that was good.
When you went to, can you get breaking it down a wee bit for the people at home or all over the world? They're seeing this huge production. It's there, all these people involved. Oh, there we go. There's my mum saying that my sister was actually taught by Celia Orr as well. There we go. My goodness.
Small world.
It's a very small world. So, when you go to these tattoo, like say, does it last a fortnight or something usually, or 10 days or something like that, or a week or something?
It varies. So August, so Edinburgh is over a month. America, so Virginia Tattoo, I think probably about a week worth of shows.
Okay.
You probably did like a Saturday, but some of them varied. Some were only, I've flown 5 hours to do 2 shows, and then come back. It just depends on. Okay. Yeah, I famously went to Crete that didn't really quite. I think the first couple of shows were cancelled. I remember one point doing what we thought was a rehearsal, and it was an actual show, and there was a janitor in the audience.
Okay.
So, but it's all, they were a long time ago.
So for the folk at home, you as a team, or all the cast, fly out there. Where do you stay and things when you get to these places? Do you? So I suppose when we stay, it's just in hotels. It's not overly glamorous. I purchased a good set of flight luggage, as they call it these days. And you live out that. You get fed. It's long hours in Davy. So, for instance, when you went to Basel, we stayed in the Basilisk Hotel, which was the best one to go from because it was right across the road from the stadium. Which I think is an old school, or maybe it's still an active school actually.
The venue is a school, yeah.
Yeah, so we would wake up silly maybe 5, 6 in the morning. You would go for breakfast. You would start rehearsals at 8 because the rehearsals were outside. You had to do it before the sun really started to beat down and crack the tar. It would be at lunchtime where you would be given, each team would be given maybe a 20-minute slot, maybe color-coded, number-coded, and it was just queues. I'm gonna say, like, the food got a bad rep, but to be honest, I adored it, and I love my food, hence the size I am now. But I really always enjoyed the food. Got a new love for goulash. That was always a particular favourite. It was brown bread and a banana and a bottle of water. It was carbonara or bolognese, like every
Most days.
single day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was that, and then it was, you know, you did sometimes 1 or 2 shows a day, and last show might finish at 11 o'clock. For instance, in Basel, it was, I suppose it's that work hard, play hard thing. So you would finish your show at 10, 11 o'clock at night. It would be, with the dancers, you still get to pat down, you still get to stretch, still get to cool down. You can't just jump off and off you go. And then it was a quick run home, a shower, and then you maybe got about 45 minutes to an hour of chill at the end of it before you went to sleep and woke back up again at 5 or 6 in the morning and started all again. So it's an amazing experience, but it's
hard.
You're out there to work, if that makes sense, but to partake as well.
Hard work though. When you're talking about the meals, I remember doing Poland for the folk festival about 35 years ago, before Poland was what Poland is now, and the big thing for lunch every day seemed to be a salami type sausage thing. You always got this salami type sausage, and after 3 weeks or 2 weeks, it was starting to get a wee bit wearing, just this same sausage turning up. And then one day we all got excited. It was curry. The chef said he had made, but it was salami sausage curry.
Sausage curry. Oh dear.
That's how it goes. So, but listen, have we got time for another one here, Davey? I think
we've got time for a couple more. Yeah. So this was Berlin.
Fantastic.
This is Berlin, and this was
an indoor tattoo again.
Indoor tattoo. It was at the time the O2 Arena in Berlin, which has since been renamed the Mercedes-Benz Arena. It's the ice hockey rink for the ice bars.
It was, and I remember being freezing. Like the floor still had the ice underneath it.
Yeah.
Oh.
They just put rubber mats on the top, and off you went.
All right.
It was not like 4 shows that we did.
It was a quick run.
Yeah. So here we go.
I read somewhere today, and I can't remember where it was, about awkward places for Piper. I think it was maybe Stuart Sampson had a post on about walking upstairs playing the pipe. Yeah. Every piper and drummer's nightmare thought you'd going up and down stairs playing. And somebody put on, I was asked to play a curling competition, and I had to walk right down the ice piping, which is a bit of a scary thought, isn't it, with the kilt on and the pipe?
Is that?
So, anyway,
luckily, nobody slipped this one. So here's, see if you can spot me.
Yeah, it's fantastic, guys. It's great.
And there we go. Maureen spotted one male dancer. His name, Mark Smith.
I feel like I'm getting younger in these videos. It's quite nice to see this young, fit.
I just like to point out that the 4 pipe bands represented there were the Cape Town Highlanders from Cape Town, South Africa, the Pipes and Drums of the Royal Air Force from the United Kingdom, the Army Cadet Corps from Scotland, and the Vancouver Police Pipe Band from Canada.
It's great, isn't it? It's a total collaboration of stuff going on.
I just
Vancouver
noticed.
Police Pipe.
Because I popped on, I've finally figured out I can do multiple things at one time, and I managed to popped onto the live stream and see who's watching. And there's a lady called Liz Cathy, who I suspect, if I get this right, is the mother of Laura Cathy, who was a dear friend of mine in primary school. And I think if you remember, David, again, toured the world with me. It was superb. So, Liz, I hope you're doing well. It's fine to see a flash in the past. So,
If we just quickly say as we're going on the show here, this is Tartan Tunes, Scottish Sessions, but we also go out on music from Scotland and Tunes in the House. And we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And
the thing I was going to say was
we used to be in Twitch,
yeah.
But we attracted all sorts of weirdos. So.
Yeah. I was going to say that the Vancouver Police Pipe Band are actually quite well known in films. They played the pipe band, the military pipe band, in the film The BFG.
There we go.
So I unfortunately joined too late, but when I joined Scottish Gas, they were previous to that. They were Wilmot and Dander Hall. That was the pipe band, and they were the pipe band in Chariots of Fire. I would have liked that one. That would have been good.
Could have been your claim
really
to fame.
slow though, wasn't it?
Yeah. It'd have to be slow if I was on it.
Your jokes never get any better, have they?
No, they don't. You would have to put up with us weekly, but here we go. It's good. Keeps us on our toes. So, did you ever teach or anything yourself? Right.
Gosh, yes, I did. I just thinking back, I went through. I almost got to the very end of my theory examination, so I ended up being a member of the Scottish Traditional Dance Alliance, STDA. Goodness, I'm going back now. I think I got that wrong. And there was a couple more I could do above that. So I did teach. I taught essentially as an understudy of Aileen, my teacher. And I suppose if I'd maybe stayed in the mainland, I probably would have ended up doing, hopefully, my judges and examiners if I'd managed to get along years down the line. That's sort of the very end of the route of dancers. But no, I did teach, and to be honest, loved it. It was great fun, and I think that's probably what spurred me on to go and do music at uni. This is a nice change here, but because I went to university to study music to essentially become a music teacher in schools, which I've not done now, but that's for other reasons. And yeah, but loved it, and it's great, and it was a fantastic experience, and it was awesome seeing young and old learn a great skill. So I'm a bit of a passionate with these things, but it is superb to teach, and I love it, and I wish more people would teach any skill they've got. You don't have to have a qualification after your name. Just if you've got something to give to a younger generation, sit down, show them, tell them, write it down, record it, however you have to do it, because it's the only way we're going to keep these skills going. Otherwise, they're all going to be lost. But luckily, Peter, you and I have that in Shetland, we have a lot of history around that sort of passing of information down here, but I know for a tangent.
But I suppose when you look at piping and history of piping, everybody didn't used to be qualified and have letters after their name. There was great teachers that could be found in back streets of towns somewhere in a wee house that was a famous piper, and then somebody up the glen that was a great piper, and so on and so on. And it'd be nice. It's nice to see it, but it's nice to see the power of it when it does go places and people abroad really, really appreciate it. You know, I think that's one of the outstanding things about Scottish music and portrayed this way. You know, it goes down really, really well, and it's good to see. Good to see, because I think, am I right in saying that American and Canadian scene for dancers is nearly probably as big as Scotland, if not bigger. Probably.
I would think so. I mean, again, I don't know the stats, but I would hedge the best to say there's probably more dancers in America and Canada now than there are in Scotland. I've got a few names to the back of my mind here of dancers that have just wiped the floor at the championships coming across to Scotland, to the homeland, the Highland Dancing, from Canada, America, from Australia, South Africa. But yeah, it's huge across the States. And I suppose that's because, well, let's face it, United States of America aren't really that old of a country. They all came from, our sort of back from this side of the pond. So I suppose all the traditions went across there and were kept quite strong. Even thinking back in some of the Canadian states, there's London, Ontario, which is where a huge, beautiful, huge, big dance school are there that send dancers across the world and across to us. So it's all, the traditions just continue across the pond, which is awesome. And nowadays, a lot of the dancers and the teachers travel across back and forth. In fact, my dance instructor, Aileen, was, maybe still is, the rep for, I think, North America for one of the boards. So she was across the pond the whole time, and potentially still is. So it's, yeah.
What's the competition to win then? Where is the World Championships in Highland Dancing?
So the World Championships for the Royal Scottish Official Board of Highland Dancing is at Kill Highland Gathering, which is in August. Okay. Always fell on or just about my mum's birthday.
Yeah,
poor lady. Spent her entire birthdays for probably the best part of 15 years. Knee-high in mud and welly boots. And
yeah, I was going to say, always raining.
Always rained. If it didn't rain, you knew it was coming. Superb. And it's funny because although it was the World Champions for us, it's not really that big of games anymore. It was huge. I think it should be European Championships for piping, potentially.
Well, it was its own championships, the Kill Championship, but they took the kind of big piping championship away, didn't they? And,
yeah, they did that.
But yeah, for years when I was little, I was 8. I don't know what age. Every year to Kill, to play, and you played up the street. The Kill games was in Dunoon, folks, for everybody listening all over the place. And it was a great experience when you were wee. You arrived off the ferry, you played up the street, you competed through the day, and then you marched down the street of the night again. It was good.
I have to stand corrected. Thank you, Gene. It's just corrected me as the Scottish Dance Teachers Alliance. I really should know that after years studying underneath them. But yes, that's who I was an associate and a member of. But yeah, actually, we're quite fortunate with the pipe band world because, as I say, I grew up in Ayr, and for a long time, that's where the World Pipe Band Championship was at, in Ayr.
Yeah, that's right. They did have it down that way, didn't they?
Yeah, and then they sort of ended up being what the mod did. Did they not then start touring the World Championships?
Yeah, they used to move about. Yeah. And then it ended up in Belarus in Glasgow, and then it moved to Glasgow Green. So the Worlds is still at Kill every year then. So that's the magnet for solo Highland dancers to go to that want to win it.
Certainly is. It's been the making of many people, and it's superb because what I like about the Worlds is, the setup for Highland Dancing, when you get to championship level, which is the top level you can get to, you dance in sets of 4 dancers, but you're dancing against everyone, so it's all solo. But there's 3 judges in front of you, and my understanding is, and I hopefully still is this day, that they always try and make sure that the judging panel, which is made up of 12 judges, is from right across the world. So the chances are that you could potentially be standing in front of a judge that you've never seen before, and again, they've never seen you. So the wonderful opportunity is that they don't know you as a name. All they're seeing is a raw talent on the stage, and it's amazing how many times you saw people rise through the ranks, the qualifications in the places, because down to 2 things, I suppose. One, there's the sort of the history of the board. The Highland Dancing boards, the Kill Highland Gathering boards, are a special thing. They're just wooden boards, really nothing particularly special, underneath a big tent, which has got 3 sides, which still doesn't keep you dry. But it's the judges in front of you, and it's that opportunity for 3-4 minutes to put 12 months worth of work on the plate, show them exactly what you can do, prove to yourself. And it's amazing how many people have problems with themselves. And to be honest, you don't have to get a place. You don't have to win to be able to do that. It's amazing how many people just did that extra step up, maybe prove to themselves that they did manage to do I don't know, leaps with straight legs, or had perfect turnout, or even managed to straighten their arms from the right. You know, all these kind of things. It came out the bottle, came out from the body and from your heart when you were on those boards. It was a very special place. Equally, they can be quite daunting, but hopefully that wasn't how the dancers look back on it nowadays.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Mark, it has been absolutely fantastic having you on. It's just been so brilliant. I've really, really enjoyed this show. And it's been I've learned so much about Highland dancing already that I didn't can, because it's one thing seeing it in that kind of like show style there, but then you're hearing about, you're saying people can come up through the ranks and they could possibly end up at tattoos and that and not have been a world champion or something like that.
Yeah.
So learning to dance, folks, young people out there, could give you opportunities to go all over the world.
Go do it. And I think there's probably a Highland dancing teacher in probably every local hall all across Scotland at least, and you won't have to go far worldwide to try and find a teacher. Any form of dancing, to be honest. It's superb.
Maybe I'll cancel my Slimming World conscription and come and get me to do a few paddy bars every so often then.
Oh, I'm sure we can do something. Actually, I saw there was a comment earlier on from a Mr. Neil Gunn who, if I got the right gentleman, I serve from the Coast Guard here in Shetland. So Neil, we'll get a Wednesday night training. There we go. We'll get a Wednesday night training in the Coast Guard, see if we can sort people's fitness out. I need to do it myself, actually. I'm well out of fetter now, but
I'm up for that. I think it would be a challenge to learn how to do one of these dances.
It'd be great fun.
Before we get rid of you, we're going to give you the choice for the last video.
What did you just say before we get rid of you?
Dispatch.
Well,
before you dispatch me.
Before you remove you from the screen.
That's what we're
Do you want us to play the Basel Tattoo 2012 dancing set or the Melbourne 2016 dancing set?
Oh, tricky. We'll go for Melbourne. It was the first time and probably the only time we'll ever managed to make it down to Australia. Superb experience at the Melbourne market. Yeah, go for Melbourne. That was a superb tattoo. For my first taste of a flat white at 6 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't get rid of jet lag. So there we go.
Right.
The traditions they brought with them, strong among them, was their love of Highland dancing. The Royal Edinburgh Military's two dancers are delighted to welcome the finest dancers drawn from all over Australia in a glorious display of contemporary Highland dancing.
Fantastic.
There we go.
You'd think
That's
that was
cool.
actually meant for you, that video, because it's all you, isn't it? Pretty much.
No, not at all. Actually, that I know we're getting close to the end of time. That stadium, which was Etihad Theatre, demonstrates there. You can see the challenge they had for the sound, and hats off to the sound engineers on the shows. The pipers, they had lead pipers with in-ear monitors in them because the slap back was something like 12 seconds. It was unreal. And in fact, at the very back, which again, look, we linked there, the Hjaltebon Hoger fiddlers at the back there. And it was down to Australia, New Zealand tour was why I ended up in Shetland, because I made great friends with them, and I decided to upheave my entire life from Edinburgh and become an air traffic control assistant in Scatsty Airport, which is now sadly shut. And I've been here for Shetland.
That wasn't your fault though.
The shut of the airport? No, I hope not.
No.
Put it down to oil and gas industry.
No, Mark's been fantastic having you. It's good seeing you again.
Yeah,
It's been a
it
while.
really has.
Super, no, thank you. It's been brilliant blast from the past. So some old memories and some good old friends I'm getting to see coming up the comments. So it's been superb. Thanks very much, gentlemen.
There's so many comments coming in, and so many will over the next week. So keep an eye on it. It'll be great. Remember, folks, all these are recorded, so you can watch them back whenever you want, and it's great to see. Mark, you've been a saviour. Thank you very much, and I'll actually see you in real life now that this COVID's gone. We'll maybe see you somewhere.
No do.
I'm allowed out every so often again, I think. I had it 3 weeks ago, so it's out of the way now.
Well, exactly. I had it. Yeah, we all had it. Right,
Brilliant,
perfect.
Mark. Thank you.
Mark, see you again, buddy.
Many thanks, chaps. Have a fine night.
All the best.
Brilliant. That has been a phenomenal wee night. Very enjoyed it.
It's as if we planned it.
Mr. Gavin Piper and Mr. Mark Smith. Two
Right.
totally
Let's
different
look at-
spectrums, accordion, but it's been great. What a nice mixture. Great.
Next week.
Yes.
Is next week confirmed? 100%.
I can't mind.
From Norway.
Oh, yeah. We've got
Yep.
Ivan.
Go then. On you go. There you go.
Next week,
Introduce him.
we'll have Mr. Ivan Drever coming on. Really looking forward to that. I think he's in Norway.
Yeah, you said Norway, yeah. And
I can't remember. I've not got my diary in front of me. Who is it?
we've got Ellie Mclaren.
Oh, yes. Ellie's coming on as well. It's going to be a brilliant night.
Yeah.
Really good. Looking forward to that. So, I think Ivan's said he was in Norway, so he'll be doing the show for Norway. So that's fantastic. So it's always nice when folk do the show for different places.
Tis that.
That's well, listen, folks, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thanks a million to Gavin and Mark for coming on as guests. And so nice to see so many folk on tonight. And if you've enjoyed the show, remember and tell your friends about it. And
Yep.
and
if you didn't enjoy the show, don't tell anyone.
tell no one. Not a soul. No one. Or just say it was Take the Floor or something.
Yeah, BBC.
Yeah, BBC. Right. Okay. Thanks very much, folks. Brilliant guests, brilliant people. Wish them all the best and look after yourselves out there still. Take care.
See you later.
Au revoir.